Okay, so this coordinate is 3 root 2, if you can't read it because it's fuzzy, over, and then pi over 4, which means that I headed out a direction of pi over 4, and that means 45 degrees if you wanted to think about degrees, and you go out for a radius of 3. Okay? And if I was to ever match that as an xy coordinate, it would be here. Kind of idea. Okay, ready? 3 comma 45. So head towards 45. And you're going to go 1, 2, 3 radius out. So there's the point. Okay, 2 pi over 3, do we know what that one is? On my degrees, do you know which one that one would be? Isn't it 120? Did somebody match 2 pi over 3? Because I'm not looking at a unit circle, but 120 degrees. So I head there from the center, and I go out 1 away from the center. So that would be that point. Okay, 2 comma negative pi over 6. So negative pi over 6 means I'm heading here, 330, right? Do you remember how to do a negative pi over 6? Negative pi over 6, so that's where I head. And I'm going to go for 2 from the center. Okay, now here's the one that's tricky. How would you plot this one? Negative 2 comma 45. So you're going to head towards 45. So that's going this way. But you're going to go negative 2 in that direction. So basically, I'm going to have to head backwards. Does that make sense to you? I looked at the 45, and then it's like I'm walking backwards from there, from the center. Okay? Convert 6 comma negative 8 to polar. Okay, so 6 negative 8 would be in quadrant 4. All right, now I need my radius from my center. So what is this centered distance? So everyone's going to do a Pythagorean theorem, right? 6 squared plus 8 squared is 100. So therefore, the radius is 10. Okay, now I want to know the angle. So when I'm heading out there, what is this angle? Obviously, do you understand it's between 270 and 360? Right, I would know that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, do you remember SOHCAHTOA? Do you remember that stuff? Or, if you like, I have the So You're Really Cute X-rated thank you stuff. Remember that stuff? It's on your sheet. Okay, I'm going to do this angle. I guess we'll always use the 2 that were given. So you could have used the 10, but I'll just use the 8 and 6. So this means I'm going to use 10. So I'm going to go 10 inverse of the opposite over the adjacent. 10 inverse of opposite over adjacent. Okay? I'm going to do that in degrees. Okay, so that is 3.1 degrees. Okay, so how do I actually figure out this direction? What would you do to get that location? what would you do there? 360 minus it, right? So how do I write it as a polar coordinate? I go like this. We go out for 10 at a direction of 306.9. Okay, let's convert. So that was an XY, and then we turned it into polar. So now this is polar, so we're going to turn it into the XY. Okay, so can you draw me where that would be? Pi over 6, you know where pi over 6 would be? Pi over 6 is 30 degrees. And you have a radius of 2. So that's what it would look like. That's where you would be. Okay. This is y, and this is x. What do you know about the positive, negative values of x and y right now? Just looking at it. This is going to be both positive. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the SOHCAHTOA stuff, or you can just use the ratios that are on your sheet again. The cos of 30 is the adjacent over hypotenuse. Where are you guys going, Annika? Okay. Sine of 30 is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, does that make sense where they're set up? So to get x, I'm going to solve like that. Do not touch your calculator. I see you going for it. What's the cos of 30? So I gave you that paper. What's the cos of 30? What did you say? Root 3 over 2 times the 2 makes just root 3. What's the sine of 30? 1/2 times the 2 on the bottom makes 1. So this coordinate would be x root 3, and then the y is 1. Okay, one more of these. So this is a polar because it's an r, comma, degree. So where would we go? We're kind of going down there, right? That's the direction we're heading. Can anybody tell me how to get that angle in there? I would do 360 minus. Remember when I talked about the reference angle? That's what I'd be talking about. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So we go out for root 5 at that kind of an angle. So now I want the x and the y to get my xy coordinate, Cartesian coordinate. And before I work with this, I'm going to write down positive negatives just so I don't forget. Positive, negative. Okay, so I'm going to do cos of the angle equals x over r. Or you could do the adjacent over hypotenuse, whatever you like. And the sine of the angle equals y over r. All right, and then you have to times those to get x, to get y. You can go to your calculator now, because you do not have that one on the unit circle. But on your test, if it was something from your unit circle, you're going to hear me have a direction of give the exact value of something. So. Yeah, because mine is, like if I'm going to round to 3 decimals, I think it was, right, if I round?
Yeah, it's 0.999.
999, yeah, so it rounds to a 1. So that means this, whoops, okay, I didn't write my answer yet. How do you actually write this answer though? That's not my answer, those are numbers. What did I forget to do right now? The y is negative, so that would be the coordinate. That's why I said write it down so you don't forget, because then I look at me, I forgot it.